So, what's up, geeks? Welcome to episode 4 of the Top Tech Week podcast, where we talk all things tech. In today's episode, we have a very special guest, which you've most likely heard of if you're active in the tech YouTube space. He's one of the nicest and dopest creators in the space, and the person I'm speaking of is Mark or SoldierKnowsBest. How's it going, Mark?
I'm doing good. Appreciate that intro. How you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. So Soldier Knows Best, he's a tech tuber and content creator. He's been doing this for well over 10 years now and has grown a following of over 800,000 subscribers on YouTube. He's based in St. Louis, Missouri, and has collaborated with tons of like-minded creators. With that said, we should just get right into this episode where I'll get your thoughts on some of the latest tech news and find out what tech YouTube was like when you were just getting started, plus some more. So, you ready?
Ready. Do it.
All right. So, my first question would be, I quickly want to ask, like, during these times of COVID-19, what have been some like things you've struggled with the content creation space and even outside of work and etc.?
Actually, it's been the opposite for me for during COVID. Because I was traveling so much. We're going to events all the time, and I was kind of at a weird place where I wasn't happy with like my production quality and stuff. So actually being able to just be home, being forced to be home, that allowed me to actually, bump up my, my production quality and kind of focus on some of those things. And it was a little bit of a break, and it was very hard for a lot of people, but for like content creating, it was just like, okay, I can just solely focus on this and not have to worry about moving around and all that stuff. So for that type of aspect, it actually was pretty good for me.
Oh wow. I started my channel during the pandemic. So I started it like late May. And so, it wasn't really, I didn't have any experience like traveling to events a lot and going to places. So I'm kind of just used to always being home, just sitting and getting the shots and upgrading my production quality. So it is kind of surprising that, you didn't really struggle as much, but you actually gained a bit from it as well.
Yeah, it's kind of, that's just been like just doing it for so long. And I miss traveling now, but it was good just to be able to be at home and just kind of chill out and not have like to think about all these extra stuff and just really focus on the work. But like you said, like, your career just getting started, right? So you're still a young man. So you'll be traveling around soon. So it was kind of different. So I think some people were able, some creators were able to kind of just like hone in on what we were trying to do and try to fix a bunch of things, which as a creator, you should always be doing. But because I was always at home, there was no excuse for me not to be able to do some of those things.
Right. Okay. So like when you were getting started, I believe you started out making game videos on your MacBook Pro. So like, what was that spark/moments that made you start a channel in the first place?
Yeah, in college, I had another channel. It's not called Soldier Knows Best. People who were watching back in the day, they know which one that was. It's still up on YouTube. But I only uploaded like stupid college videos of me playing pranks on people and stuff. And I just did like a few videos on that. And you know what? Actually, no, my very first tech video I actually did on that channel too. And that's really kind of where I was like, I had a focus to it. Like I think that was the beginning of me being able to try to like see something that I could focus on. And that was on the very first iPhone. So I had just graduated college. I was commissioned in the Army, and I had a little time, and I got my first check. I was like, what am I going to buy? And I just heard about the new iPhone, and I went on YouTube and just saw some other people talking about it. Right? They weren't tech creators, just people who just got the phone and said they liked it, and that convinced me to do it. And back then, man, like the iPhone wasn't popular. Like people weren't sure about it. So I was literally like the only person in my unit that had an iPhone, and everyone just kept asking me about it. And so I was like, and I kept talking about it. So I was like, let me make a video of doing my review. And I did that on that channel, and I had fun with it, and I just kind of started everything.
Right. Okay. So that's pretty cool. So like, what was it like kind of getting started in like such an empty space at the time where there weren't tons of creators, tech creators like there are now and things like that?
it was actually cool. Like there was no stress, nobody's worried about
Right.
thumbnails, nobody's worried about
Right.
anything. At that point, you were really just doing YouTube just because you wanted to. Like you had something that you wanted
Right.
to say. So that was like I'm lucky that like I feel really lucky that I started at that time because it was just nothing. You were just doing it for fun.
Hmm.
Um and so yeah, and like for the first 4 years, like I really didn't, there wasn't anything there. It was just a
Hmm.
place where people uploaded content. But then as it started to grow, you started seeing other creators, like the community started to grow at the same time. And yeah, and when it was a very small community, I remember going to, I think, the second VidCon where like
Hmm.
pretty much all the creators were just hanging out in the hotel lobby the whole time. Like, and it was way smaller than what it is now. Like, it was just it was a closer, smaller community of all different genres. But yeah, it was just fun, man. It was a very relaxing time.
Right. Okay, so it sounds like it was more of like an open space where you could really do whatever you want and don't have like certain guidelines you have to follow now where you have to have a good thumbnail or you have to have a certain tags and you have to just stare at your analytics and things like that. It was kind of just an open space where you could really do and just play around with whatever you wanted to.
Yeah, it was just chill. It was chill. It was
Yeah.
very freeing, and it's one of those things where even now, like I speak for myself in this just because I've been doing it for so long. Like I don't stress too much over the analytics and stuff. Like all of my videos don't get a
Mhm.
lot of views, and I know I
Right.
literally work on videos for like a week that I know aren't going to get a lot of views, at least initially for sure. But
Right.
so it's important to pay attention to that stuff, but also don't over stress and try to like make the content what you want that you want and have fun with it and be relaxed as much as possible. And it's a kind of a combination between that. So that was like the old school YouTube versus the new school YouTube. I try to kind of like blend both for me.
I see. Okay. So that's really cool. So what was your first like real camera? What was your first camera?
Ooh, it was a Canon. Oh, I don't remember the name. I actually have it somewhere in there. Um, in my little closet, I have a bunch of stuff, but um, it was a little Canon digital camera. I think it was like the Power Shot or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was this little thing and that I had in college, and that's what I shot all of my earlier videos on. And yeah, it was important, man. Like I will never get rid of it. Like I have it always
Right.
like in my studio.
Right.
But yeah, it was fun just to take that out, record, and not have to worry too much about things.
Hmm. Right. So like in the beginning, did you have any like doubt? Like, I know it was mostly fun, but did you want to like stop and pursue other things, or was it kind of just a fun thing you wanted to do? You didn't really see it as quote unquote work and things like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Thinking about it as a job didn't come to years later.
Right.
So I was in the I just got commissioned in the army. So like I didn't know whether I was gonna get deployed, depending when I got stationed to my unit, assigned to my unit. So at that time when I was making the videos, it was literally just, I had no aspirations. I didn't even know you could make money on YouTube. So that wasn't until like maybe 5 years later, maybe five or
Oh
six
wow.
years later, where I thought I was like, okay, there might be an opportunity here to make a living. I saw other people doing it.
Right.
And so I was like, okay. But even then I had to kind of work towards it and get to a point to where I was making enough money to it with it that I felt comfortable, doing it full
Hmm.
time. So yeah, it was, I think, maybe like 6 years, I'm just guessing, but like around 6 years before I was really sure about being able to maybe go full time with it.
I see. So it was more of it was just a fun thing to do. It was just kind of letting your creativity out and just being able to, review the latest tech or do little tech things and little videos here and there. But it wasn't something where you like, oh, it's a lot of work and I have to do this and that.
Yeah. Yeah. Hold on 1 second. I got all these phones going off.
No problem. So, my next question would be like, if you had a chance, what would be something you would say to your past self that was just getting started?
Um, I would definitely say focus, like learn as much as you can as far as like production quality, video quality, and audio. I
Right.
was really late to the game on trying to I shot a lot of my first stuff on just my webcam. Um, and then I had cameras like DSLRs, but I didn't really like take the time to learn it. Right, I was just like setting them up in
Right.
auto mode and stuff. So I would say
Right.
focus on that. And learn about that if you can. Then after that, yeah, just really focus on those connections that you make with other creators, across all different genres, and make sure make sure you're working together with other people, you're helping everyone out as much as possible. Even though I actually did that, but that's something that I'll
Yeah,
definitely tell
yeah.
someone like kind of starting early on.
Right. Okay. So I believe I know this, but what was the origin of your name, Soldier Knows Best?
You know, I seriously like it definitely has something to do with, because I was in the military.
Right.
Um, but I don't remember like what exactly like with the second that I thought about it, like, oh, let me use that.
Right.
Um, so I know there was a TV show called like Mama Knows Best or something like that. Maybe I saw that on TV and
Mhm.
subconsciously, like when I was trying to think of a name for my channel, I came up with Soldier Knows Best. But I honestly don't know exactly what sparked it. But yeah, it's definitely because I was in the
Okay, I see. So it's kind of the same with my name, Top Tech Geek. I didn't really I can just barely remember how I came up with it. I was brainstorming names and then it just came to me and I went it over with my family and stuff. They're like, that's a really good name. I didn't think it was that, that good at the time, but it's very catchy. It's simple to remember and things like that. Kind of like Soldier Knows Best. It's really easy to remember. You can look it up and then, you could just say it and people will remember it easily.
yeah, that's important. Something that just
Right.
rolls off the tongue.
Yeah. So here are some video questions. So like what were some struggles that you have creating videos now or even in the past? Like what are some struggles you have with either, B-roll or things like that in the now or in the past?
In the past, definitely the number one thing is probably lighting. You know,
Mhm.
like using just harsh like LED lights and stuff like that, and trying to work around that. But now just getting one really good light like the Aperture 120D, like it can solve a lot of stuff. So lighting issues, like trying to work around the time of the day and stuff, definitely sucked. Audio
Mhm.
quality too. Working on that, getting a good microphone, how the setup for that and stuff. So that's definitely stuff I had to work on. But
Right.
for now, like right now, I would say time. Time is the biggest
Yeah,
thing. As you
time.
know, like
Yeah.
in tech, there's always something dropping. There's always something new, and no matter how much you're working on, you can still feel like you're behind because you're not covering this product or that product.
Right.
So, but honestly, at this point, time is like for me. I try not to stress out too much. I try to make those embargo dates, but if I don't make that exact time, all right, so be it. So managing that time, for not only creating videos but getting enough sleep and going out doing other things is probably the hardest part that I think a lot of creators can relate to.
Okay, so it was more of so right now, like time is pretty much every creator's issue right now. It's always an issue. Even like you may have a good schedule and things, but sometimes it's just time could just be could either make or break your whole week or whatever. So I know I struggle with time a lot, so I understand that completely.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like no, like spending those late nights trying to make those embargoes, like stand up, like it sucks. And I do it sometimes now, but sometimes I'm like, whatever. I gotta work on that in the morning. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is a little funny one, but 24 or 30 FPS?
Oh, 30.
30. I'm a
Yeah,
24.
yeah. I'm team 30, team 30 all day.
Oh, okay. I see. I'm a 24 right now, so okay, so what's your all-time favorite camera while on the topic of FPS and things like that?
Ooh, all time favorite camera. Uh, hmm. I might have to say the camera. Okay, I'm gonna go all time. So all time, I would have to say maybe the Canon T2i. I think it's a Canon
Hmm.
Rebel T2i. So this might be a little bit before your time, but that was like the first like DSLR that was really affordable, and so a
Right.
bunch of YouTubers were getting it, and so that was the one where you saw like everyone had that back in the day, and they were coming from like the Flip HD cameras, little small handheld cameras and stuff.
Hmm.
So you know what? No, so that might be the most impactful. But
Right, right.
right now, the camera that I find myself kind of using a lot, and actually I just got the second version of it. Is the Insta 360 Go,
Mm,
little small tiny camera.
right.
So
Oh.
this little camera is so fun. You can just attach it on yourself. So I reviewed the first one. This is the second gen. I gotta like unbox it. But that camera is so fun, man. Like I take it on vacations and I take it, while I'm doing some of my scooter reviews and things. I just put it on myself and you just get a really cool perspective. So that's the most fun that I'm having right now with the camera. But yeah, all the time I'll say the Canon T2i. I'm all over the place, but yeah, I'll go with the Canon.
Yeah. I get it. That is a pretty big question because there are tons, hundreds of cameras, thousands, I should say, of cameras. So, but the Insta 360 is that the name?
Yeah, the Insta 360 Go. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks really cool. I watched some reviews on it. The thing is, it's so small. I can't believe they fit such a good camera in that little body.
Yeah, and the stabilization and all that stuff. Like it's so fun. It's very useful if
Yeah,
you do like outdoors type of content.
right. So what's one of your favorite videos you've uploaded on your channel?
I would say the one that always comes to my head is I reviewed this iPad case that was supposed to protect it like from really big drops, and I think they had a promo video where they dropped it from like a hot air balloon and it fell and it was still
Mhm.
fine. So that was a video, like one of my first videos when I went outside and I went out to some park and I set up multiple camera angles. Like I was like, oh, let me see if I can get three different angles and really explore with that. And I ran over the case with the iPad in it with my car, and I was throwing it up and down. So like that was the one where like I was looking at how it turned out, and I was using like ScreenFlow to edit my videos and stuff, and I had the multiple camera angles, and that one was really
Right.
fun. That was the first video where I'm like, that looks really good. Looks really good
Right.
as far as that production quality. It looked good.
Right. Did the iPad survive?
Yeah, the iPad
Oh
survived.
wow.
Yeah,
Wow, that's
it
a
was a
good
good little
case.
case. Yeah.
That's a good case. Wow. Okay, so a few more, but what are some things you're looking forward to this year, whether it's upcoming projects or tech products?
You know, this year for the rest of the year, yeah, I don't think they're going to be any like shows or travel or anything like that. That's one thing.
Right.
Definitely, hopefully, starting with CES next year, where just being able to get out and meet people and go to events again would be nice. But for the rest of the year, it's just kind of me kind of exploring some different things.
Mhm.
On and off, on and off YouTube,
Right.
and maybe trying to get into something else. Maybe I'm a really big gamer, so I might as well stream and do something with it, or even experimenting with the podcast or something where with live streaming. So
Right.
I've been talking about that for a while. I'm getting things in place, rearranging a little bit of things
Mhm.
in another part of my studio, and so yeah, that's definitely gonna be something fun and trying to get like continue to do Soldier Knows Best, but do something a little bit different.
Right.
That'll
Kind
be
of
fun.
switch it up a bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. If you're streaming, we could probably partner up one
Yeah,
time because I just started my Twitch channel, so yeah.
yeah. Well, yeah. People watching this, yeah. Me and we've been doing Apex Legends, so
Thanks.
we
Yeah.
got that first dub, man. We got that first dub. So
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. Okay, so for new creators just getting started, whether it's a tech channel or any other niche, what's up some advice you give to them, you know?
I would say don't worry about the money. Don't start
Right.
worrying about the money. Like that. I mean, look, it could come fast, but oftentimes it's going to take you, a little while.
Right.
Maybe a couple years, even longer. But yeah, don't worry about the money. Just worried about whatever you want to talk about on YouTube. Make sure you really, really want to talk about it, not because you think it can be money, but because you really are
Mhm.
interested in it, because you really want to talk about that particular category or topic or subject. So that would be the first thing, and then also don't go broke on equipment right away. There's
Right.
really great equipment that you can get. That you don't need to spend a lot of money on. So definitely, there's a bunch of people who have YouTube content about like startup kits for YouTube. So check those out.
Mhm.
You don't have to spend
Yeah.
thousands and thousands right away. But the last thing, just have fun. Have
Yeah.
fun. Learn about analytics. Just don't stress too much because this is a long game. I've been doing it
Mhm.
for a while, and there've been peaks and valleys. Like it's a long ride. So pace yourself. Have fun.
Yeah. So on the topic of the what's it called, equipment, I could recommend getting a Canon M50 if you don't want to spend too much, but you still want a decent camera. That's currently what I'm using right now for you video folks. That's what I'm using right now. for my webcam, and it's a really good camera. I currently have it in auto mode because it's easier with my setup, but when you mess around with the settings, you can get some really nice shots with it. So I can definitely recommend this camera.
Yeah, man. Look, I've been watching your videos like over the past year, and you look you've gotten a lot better at your video
Mhm.
quality. And it took me years, dude. It took me like a decade. You're nailing things down in less than a year, so it's looking good so far.
Thank you. Okay, so a few tech questions, and then we'll have a few fun questions at the end, and then we'll wrap up. So, when it comes to tech, what's the most exciting part in your opinion?
Um, it's the you know, honestly, every time I unbox something, even if I
Yeah,
know what it is, like every time
yeah,
I unbox something, it's just that feeling of getting something brand new that I've never used before.
right.
And honestly, everything isn't so exciting. Everything isn't super exciting, but you get those little things like that. Samsung Galaxy Z Fold, the Z Fold
Hmm.
2, and even the first Fold, when I first held it, I'm like, whoa, all right, this is something different. And it's just being able to like, you are able to use some of the things that might not catch on, with regular society first, but be able to use some things kind of in the first steps. And it's fun to be a part of that. So yeah, outside of that, it's just like, yeah, just I'm excited about all types of different tech. That's why on my channel I
Yeah.
cover a little bit of everything. I don't really just focus on one thing. So I like it all.
Yeah, I've been trying to kind of diversify my channel a bit. I've been behind on a lot of phone reviews, so that's why my for the past like 2 months it's just been straight phone reviews. But after I get those done, I plan on kind of, doing monitor reviews or keyboard reviews and things like that, kind of just switching it up and, giving having a bigger audience on certain topics that other people may not be interested in.
Yeah, and that's important. It's nothing wrong with just
Yeah.
being a smartphone reviewer or being a camera reviewer or a car reviewer, but yeah, if you really are interested in different types, not only because it switches things up, some of these products I have to
Mhm.
get outside and use more and it makes it fun, but also too
Right.
for monetization, for sponsorships and things. Everyone is
Right.
going to cover smartphones, everyone is going to cover Apple. We know that. But there's a lot of companies that have budgets for advertising that they can't get other people to cover their products. And if you truly are interested in the product or you like it, then you have a good you have a good chance to get a really good deal with them to maybe do a sponsored video on something that it may not be trending, but
Right.
can help you financially. But also too, you're doing a product that over the long run with search results that can do pretty well.
Right. Okay. So, what was your very first smartphone? I believe you answered this at the beginning, but it was it an iPhone or what was your very first smartphone?
Hmm. So it depends on the definition of smartphone. So yeah, like I think by today's standards, it was the first iPhone. But the phone I was using before that was the Singular 8525, which was a Windows mobile phone. So it had a
Mm,
screen that you can flip open, you can flip, and then it will have it had a keyboard underneath the screen. And then it also has stylus support. It had full Microsoft Office. Like I felt like I can do anything with it, So it was
right.
like the Galaxy Note, back in the day. I would call that a smartphone just because it was really smart compared to like the Motorola Razr that was coming from before that.
Hmm.
But by today's standard, it might be just the first
Okay.
iPhone.
Okay. So, on this topic of smartphones, though, LG just left the smartphone business. So, what are your thoughts on that? Because I know they've been doing this for years now.
Honestly, I didn't get the LG Wing when it first came out.
Mm.
But I actually, when they went out of business, it literally just came yesterday. So let me buy it.
Oh wow.
This might be the last like great smartphone coming from LG. So I literally just unboxed this actually just a couple hours ago. So
Mm.
I put my SIM card in it. I'm going to be using it, and I'm going to give my thoughts about it in another video. But as far as like LG, like well, just so far, like I like it. Just being able to flip is cool. Like I like
Yeah, it's
the
really
like
cool.
multitasking. It's really cool and fluid. But for LG, I think that you know the smartphone game is tough. There's a lot of players in it right now, and they make so many other
Hmm.
different products and stuff. And I know this was just one division, but I think they did really good. They had some issues with marketing and timing and the releases and trying to get attention for their products in something like in America that's really dominated by Samsung and Apple.
Right.
But they have some good phones over the years. But I was thinking about also doing a video about this, but one thing I would say is I don't think this is the end for LG Mobile. I
Hmm.
personally think that maybe in 5 years or something like that, we might see something else from them because they have been thinking about those rollable phones where the display
Right.
rolls
I
out
was
and stuff.
really excited for that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think they're gonna pull like a Microsoft. Microsoft got off the phone business, years ago, and then now we have the Surface Duo, and no matter what you
Right.
think about that phone, I think if LG like just focuses on making one phone a year and make it cool, make it
Right.
unique like the rollable phone or something, and yeah, you're not gonna sell hundreds of millions of it, but I think there's a place for you to be able to do that and have an audience and keep that mobile division going. So again, I think that that's not going to happen maybe for 5 years or so, but I don't think this is the last we've heard of from LG as far as like smartphones.
Yeah, I'm hoping I'm with you. I'm hoping that they do come back because even though their phones weren't top of the line, like I had their Velvet. That was my very first smartphone and my very first LG phone. And it wasn't Samsung or a Pixel or an Apple iPhone, but it was still a decent phone for people looking for something that wasn't going to be over $600. You could get a nice, decent specs. It's nothing crazy, but if you're doing simple browsing, going through Twitter, writing down notes and things like that, it was still a really good phone. So I feel like if LG kind of just if they do come back, if they kind of went with that same type of template and add their little features here and there where they make it a little unique, but a lot of creators were saying it was like their whole business was experimenting, so they weren't making any money and it wasn't really smart on a business perspective. So if they kind of did like an LG Velvet but also added better specs, made it a bit unique in their own way, I feel like it could have they could definitely break out from the rest of the crowd.
Yeah, it might just be rebranding or something. Maybe not even call it
Right.
like just start up a whole nother thing and yeah, and it's all about buzz. Like I think OnePlus, like they are really great with their marketing for being that small company to turn into what they are now. That marketing that they have,
Right.
and it's just cool. Like OnePlus is a cool brand, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's more than anything that has helped them grow along with making really great phones too. But yeah, I think LG, with the display technology, I mean, they really make a lot of great displays. They make displays for a lot of other smartphones. I
Right.
think there's room for them to come back and again, like you said, maybe just focus on one phone, but just try to make that the
Hmm.
best phone and just try to get people's interest back.
Right. So what's your favorite laptop you've used?
Mm, all time, I have to. It has to be the MacBook Air. Yeah, it would have to be this
Huh.
M1 MacBook Air. Yeah, I love that thing. The battery life
Yeah.
is ridiculous. It's like a great machine. That with the Mac Mini, they're just machines that are just they do everything I want. Like I don't do a lot of heavy video editing on the road and stuff like that, but just knowing that I literally can
Hmm.
take that and not bring my charger if I'm going somewhere for like maybe 2 days, or even 3 days, like
Right.
that's really great. So yeah, out of laptops, I would say that one is like already right now like my favorite that I've used.
Okay, so I've been trying to I have a 2019 MacBook Pro 13-inch. And so I've been wanting to upgrade for like the past few months, but I'm waiting for M2 to come out because I want to get an M1. I was about to get an M1 MacBook Pro, but I was like, let me just wait for M2 because if they can make it better than M1, I'm definitely gonna get that. And then it's
Yeah,
stability too as well.
yeah, and I think hopefully more ports and SD card
Right.
readers rumored and stuff like that. Like, yeah, you're smart to hold off. Yeah, hold
Yeah.
off. We're probably really close. Maybe at WWDC they may, talk about that. But yeah, like I think for right now the M1 is like if you're not even a video creator, it's perfect. Like
Hmm.
you don't need anything else like for years and
Yeah.
years to come. And you can say that for video creators, but we always want something more and more power.
Yeah.
But I think the most important thing for me is just if it has built-in SD card. Like I hate having to bring an extra dongle for that. So built-in
Yeah.
SD card reader would actually make me upgrade to like a MacBook Pro or something else. So yeah.
Right. So, let's say theoretically, if you never became a content creator, what do you think you'd be doing today?
Eventually I like, well, back in the day, like, so I was in the army, but I think I still wanted to like go into the FBI. So
Mm.
yeah, I studied criminal. Yes, I studied criminal justice in college. I got my degree in that, but I haven't done anything with it. So yeah,
Right.
back in the day, I wanted to be an FBI agent, going down and solving crimes and stuff like that. So that'd have been fun.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd have been fun to do.
So yeah. So technology is such a vast industry. So what are you hoping to see become either mainstream or get upgraded so much over the next few years that could change the tech game?
I'm really big on VR. Like I think
Oh
that,
yeah.
yeah, like the Oculus Quest, I'm a huge fan of. HTC Vive, like I like that as well. And the rumors of Apple jumping into the space, it's going to be big. They already
Hmm.
bought up what is it, Next VR, Next VR. So they were in charge of doing like we saw VR at like the basketball games, the NBA games, and concerts and
Right.
WrestleMania and stuff like that. Apple bought them up, I think, a year ago, 2 years ago. It didn't get a lot
Mm.
of buzz, but that's I think for Apple, that's going to be the biggest thing. They're going to be bringing concerts and things, through their ecosystem, through iTunes and stuff, in VR. And I already liked it, and I'm excited to see what they can do with it. But yeah, definitely right now, I think Facebook, Oculus are leading the charge on VR, and something that I use all the time. And I think that's something that, as it becomes more portable, maybe just built into some
Hmm.
glasses and things like that, I think people
Right.
get excited about.
Yeah, I actually um I recently did an episode with David Amell, and he said the same thing. I asked him what does he hope to see? Kind of the same question. He said VR, and it's I literally have in my Twitter bio dying to try an Oculus Quest 2. And so we were talking about VR and things like that, and how if VR and then AR, how Apple maybe having AR glasses and things like that, it would be really cool to kind of see that develop over the years and become mainstream, people having it on their phone, and you could use it to make a desk setup and see how it look in your room and things like that. So it would be that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and Apple's been working with AR for a long time, and
Yeah.
they announced their things they were doing, and we had the capabilities, and it's been a part of the iPhone for a very long time. So, but with the lidar scanners and things like that, like I think Apple has a lot of information on it. I think it's about content, how getting
Mhm.
content, getting games for it, and I think that's going to be the biggest advantage that Apple may have. Now, Facebook is really good right now, but Apple has those connections with the App Store, and those developers are making
Right.
a ton of money. And now start making some VR apps too, and if they can sell
Yeah.
them, yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Shout out to David too.
So
David's a good guy.
oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. So what are your thoughts on the new Google Pixel Watch leaks?
I like it. I've been waiting for a freaking Pixel Watch forever, man. Like, um, yeah, I think it's going to be, just from the leaks that we've seen from John Prosser. Like, I think that it looks good, looks simple, looks clean, and I think the best thing about the Apple Watch, it has a lot going on, but it's so easy to use. I never feel like it's too much information. Of course, you can
Right.
switch between different watch faces, but just keep it simple, get the basics done right, have great battery life, and so yeah, I think Google has a really good chance with this Pixel Watch.
Yeah, with the Apple Watch, it's just I have the Apple Watch 3. So, it's easy to just put it on, you input your password or whatever, and then you don't have to worry about it for the rest of the day. And then you could come at night right before you go to bed or whatever and look at your move ring and your rings and things like that, and see how you did during the day, and then you could easily look at the weather and things on it. So, if Google kind of just does something really simple, like you said, really simple, and then have their own little spin on it, because Google is Google, have their own little spin on it, and do things here and there. I think it can really be the best Apple Watch competitor, Apple Watch competitor for Android.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how it pairs with their Pixel phones. Maybe they have some unique things that I can do with Pixel phones and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, like Apple Watch is killing. Like I hate the fact that you know I I feel like I use a bunch of Android phones throughout the year, and I'm like, oh man, I miss using Apple Apple Watch with it.
Right.
And it's just like, there's some other good alternatives, but then there's nothing like the Apple Watch. So yeah, this Pixel Watch, I'm keeping my fingers crossed, should be good.
Yeah. So, um, another question I asked David and Mel was if you were to choose one phone to use for the rest of your life, what would you choose?
It'll be the Galaxy Z Fold 2 right now.
Huh.
Like I just recently put my I had some travel and I recently put my SIM card back in it like after a while. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't really use it for like 2 or 3 months, at
Mm.
least a lot. Um
Right.
and I put my SIM card back in it and like just being able to play games on it. I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty on it. It's a big
Mhm.
screen and watching videos. Like it's the one device that will keep me from taking my iPad on a plane. Like ever since the first iPad
Right.
came out, I always took my iPad every time I traveled. But starting with the first Fold, I thought the screen is just big enough for me where I can watch a full movie on it and be fine. So I think it's
Mhm.
great for like 2 hour flights or something like that. Now, if we're going internationally, then I'll bring my iPad for sure. But
Right.
yeah, the Z Fold 2 just does the best of both worlds, like smartphone and a tablet combo.
Tablet. Yeah, the Z Fold. I think that was LG's like biggest. Not LG, Samsung's. I think that was Samsung's biggest LG move, where they kind of did something really different, but it really caught on more than I expected it to. Because even though you don't see it everywhere, a lot of people still know about it. And so if LG kind of keeps on upgrading it, like their why do I keep saying LG? If Samsung keeps on upgrading it, they could definitely make it mainstream, and you'll see everybody using a Z Fold Z Fold.
Yeah, making it thin, making it light. But you know what? The like I'm excited for the Z Fold 3, but I'm really excited to see that Z Flip. I think
Yeah.
they get a Z Flip with the bigger screen on the outside. That really I like the perfect combo would be that and the Z Fold, because the flip is just great for those everyday tasks and things like that. You're going out, you can have it flip and fold. You can have it folded in. It's not taking too much space. But that Z Fold is just like when you're chilling at home or you're going
Mm-hmm.
somewhere traveling at time. Like it's perfect. But yeah, those two phones right now are like two of the top phones that I'm just excited about. Literally excited about to see what they do next.
Okay. Yes. I hope to get my hands on the Z Fold 3 because I haven't tried the Z Fold, the original one or the second one. So I hope to get my hands on the Z Fold 3 because they both look like really cool devices.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. So last few fun questions. So iOS or Android?
Ooh, I honestly, it's both. Like
Yeah.
I will say I use Android more because there's so many Android phones that come out throughout the year, but I
Right.
equally like them both. For I used to be Team Apple, and at one point I switched to Team and like now honestly it's both. It's both of them.
Yeah. And it's Android for me mostly. I haven't really had like a my own iPhone yet. So Android is usually for me because I like the customization. You can really do anything you want with the phone. And it with Apple, I do like that they're kind of slowly moving towards that with, new widgets and iOS 14 and things like that. So that's mostly the reason why I like Android. It's just so simple to use, just like iOS, but it's more you can be a bit more unique with your phone if you want.
Yeah, the hardware options, and it's always something new coming out.
Yeah.
Apple has usually one drop a year with the new iPhone, maybe something like the
Mhm.
SE that comes out. But yeah, with Android, it's something new every day, and you just have those different form factors and different takes on what a smartphone should be from the different companies.
Right. Okay. So Xbox or PlayStation?
Ooh, ooh. If I can only do one, I'm not gonna like choose both at this moment. Um. Oh, this is hard. This is hard.
Yeah.
I have to say Xbox because of just so many of my friends are on it.
Mhm.
And that was the one I used throughout college for the most part and stuff. So
Mm.
I would say Xbox just because of that type of interaction and stuff. Um, and the PlayStation 5 is like right there behind. It's right there behind.
Yeah.
But I think with the PlayStation, I really like their first party games that they have, like the Last of Us and those type of games. Like
Mhm.
you can't replicate that experience. So like, yeah, if I had to choose one, I would go with the Xbox.
Okay. Favorite season?
Ooh, I'm gonna say Techtober, but that's busy. But no, my favorite season would be, it has to be summer. Gotta be summer.
Summer. Yeah, summer's
Yeah.
mine too. Mostly, I'm a little biased towards it, mostly because my birthday is like right at the beginning of summer. So yeah, summer.
Yeah, man, just being stuck inside, and because spring now is not even like super like warm, at least out here in St. Louis.
Right.
But summer, just being out, like, you know, it's going to be warm. Go play some sports and stuff. Yeah, you can't beat it.
Yeah. Last two questions. Samsung or Apple?
Samsung or Apple? Uh Samsung or Apple? Just with smartphones,
Yes, you
or
could
just the
just
company?
or it's up to you. You could do just smartphones or you could do just the company in entirety.
If it's a, oh, it's tough. Like, well, if it's the company entirety, I would have to say, as far as like my place, which
Mhm.
company, like as far as like how many products do I have and how they work together and stuff, it's Apple for sure.
Right.
Apple TV, the Macs, the iPads, Apple Watches, and it's so integrated, right? Everything's integrated now.
Right.
Samsung makes products in all those categories too. Maybe not
Mhm.
necessarily Apple TV as far as the little box, um, but yeah, it's yeah, Apple as a company, as far as like right now, I use so many of their products together.
Okay. Yeah, and then AirDrop is just it's just amazing. AirDrop is
Yeah,
just
AirDrop, it changes things.
yeah.
I miss it every time I'm on Android.
Yeah. Okay. Well, last question. Favorite movie?
Ooh, I'm a big movie buff. This is really hard, man. Favorite movie? Oh man, so many options. It really is so many options to choose from.
If
I have
you
to say
want to
that,
make a little, oh, go ahead.
yeah. If I had to choose one that I watch all the time, like usually when I'm traveling, I always have it on whatever device I'm using, and I'm
Mhm.
watching that. It would have to be Interstellar.
Ooh.
Interstellar, Christopher Nolan, Hans Zimmer for sure. I'm a Hans Zimmer fanboy. Um,
Right.
that movie gets better every single time I watch it. Like every single
Hmm.
time I watch it. So that's the one I'm watching right now. There definitely are some other movies I can probably list
Right.
that are high up on my list, but that's the one right now that I'm watching online.
Okay. Well, that was pretty much all of my questions. Thank you so much for, hopping on with me. I really enjoyed this, and we definitely have to do it again. With that said, make sure you guys follow him on all of his social medias, which will be linked in the description if you're on YouTube, or in the show notes if you're listening to this in podcast form. Also, make sure to subscribe to me if you're on YouTube, since I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by my birthday, which is May 2nd, or by my channel anniversary, which is May 26th. But this has been it. Thank you again. And did you have anything else you want to add, Mark?
No, everybody stay safe, be happy, enjoy life, subscribe to everyone's channel, everybody's channel. Just subscribe to everybody in tech, all the channels. Go for it.
Yes, sir. Okay, well, anyways, like usual, thank you guys for joining me, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.